Haristuti Shloka 23. वेदान्तैश्चाध्यात्मिकशास्त्रैश्च पुराणैः शास्त्रैश्चान्यैः सात्वततन्त्रैश्च यमीशं दृष्ट्वा थान्तश्चेतसि बुद्ध्वा विविशोर्यं तं संसारध्वान्तविनाशं हरिम् ईडे. अन्वयार्थः वेदान्तैः च आध्यात्मिकशास्त्रैः च पुराणैः अन्यैः शास्त्रैः च सात्वततन्त्रैः च यम् ईशं दृष्ट्वा अथ चेतसि अन्तः बुद्ध्वा यं विविशुः तं संसारध्वान्तविनाशं हरिम् ईडे. Vedantaihi cha, from the words of the Upanishads, and then Adhyatmika Shastraihi cha, from other philosophical texts also, and then Puranaihi, from the Puranas, Upapuranas, and then Anyahi Shastraihi cha, from many other scriptural texts also, satvata tantraihi cha. Then there are many devotional literature sources also. Yam isham drishtva, the Paramatma who is known by Shravanam and Mananam, and then atha chetasi antaha buddhva. Chetasi antaha implies the meaning of by meditating and contemplating. After doing Shravanam and Mananam, contemplating on what has been learned, that Parameshwara who is visualized, buddhva antaha chetasi, who is visualized within one's own self, yam vivishuhu, and obtained as the nature of the self itself. Here vivishuhu means those who have obtained it in the form of knowledge within the self. Tam samsara dhvanta vinasham harim ide, that Brahman I offer worship, who is also known as Hari, the destroyer of ignorance which causes samsara. Now, having praised Ishvara according to the Advaita, non-dual nature, which is established by profound statements in the Shastra, then presently Bhagavad Pada praises Lord Vishnu as the one who is discussed and described by the various philosophies and other texts on spirituality. So Vedantaihi cha, the text which occurs at the end of the Vedas, that is known as Vedanta. It is also known as Upanishad. We know that there are 4 Vedas, but then Upanishads are many, because one Veda will have more than one Upanishad. The subject matter of all the Upanishads is to know Brahman as one's own self. The Swarupa or nature of Brahman is Satchidanandam, and this is established by all the Upanishads. Further, Adhyatmika Shastraihi cha, the texts on spirituality which discuss and analyze the nature of the self, the jiva, that is the individual. What is the nature of this individual? Then what is Ishvara? And Jagat, what is this creation? These are the texts, different texts on spirituality. For example, Sankhya philosophy founded by sage Kapila is a dualistic theory. It holds that the individual jiva and Ishvara are separate and two different things. But this is also, like in this philosophy also, it is believed that everything is derived from Purusha. I just mentioned this in brief. And then Puranaihi means the Puranas written by sage Vyasa talk about Brahman with attributes. That is Saguna Brahman. And that Saguna Brahman is praised in the form of Lord Shiva in Shiva Purana and Lord Vishnu in Vishnu Purana, as Devi in Devi Bhagavatam, etc. Then Anyaihi cha Shastraihi, that is, there are other systems like Vaisheshika philosophy, which is founded by sage Kanada. This philosophy has its own epistemology and ethical conclusions. Then Satvata Tantraihi cha, other devotional literature based on which the devotees accept Lord Vasudeva as the Supreme Lord, and then some look upon Lord Shiva as the Supreme Deity. So like this, all forms of texts by implication talk about Brahman as the ultimate principle to be known. Yam Isham Drishtva, like that Brahman is understood firstly by going to the appropriate learned guru who unfolds the words of the Shastra, that is Vedas. Veda in a simplified manner is taught, and then that which has been studied is later contemplated upon. So next, the word atha in the shloka means by the discipline of extensive contemplation. Dhyanena, what happens? Antaha chetasi buddhva. Many great scholars and seekers have obtained that knowledge of Brahman as the truth of one's self. That Brahman and I, the Jiva, are essentially the same. Aham Brahma Asmi. So this knowledge is obtained within oneself. Yam Vivishuhu. Brahman obtained as the truth of oneself is praised as Tam Samsara Dhvanta Vinasham Harim Ide. Now, let's try to understand briefly the knowledge systems and philosophies. I said again briefly. Veda is a vast body of scriptural knowledge which can be broadly classified into two sections. The first section is popularly known as Karma Kanda, dealing with actions that achieve desires, that is, rituals, prayers, meditations which are needed for gaining security and happiness in this world and hereafter. This first section itself is accordingly classified further as Samhita, Brahmanam, Aranyakam and Upanishad. The Upanishads form the second section, which is also the last section of the Veda, and it is known as the Jnana Kandam, the knowledge section. This, because it occurs at the end of the Veda, is popularly known as Vedanta. The subject matter of Vedanta is a single desire, moksha, the desire for liberation. The fulfillment of that desire is not through actions, not through karma, but through knowledge. It is this knowledge of one's own true nature which gives liberation. Now, this knowledge about the self, jiva, then What is the nature of this world, Jagat? And what is God, Ishvara? This is the topic or subject matter of all the philosophies. Jiva, Jagat, Ishvara, and the relation between them or the connection between them forms the subject matter of all the philosophies. In Sanskrit, philosophy is known by the term darshana. It means drishyate anena iti darshanam. The Shastra which establishes the meaning of Jiva, Jagat, Ishvara by a thorough analysis. That is Darshana Shastram. Darshanas are classified as Astika Darshana and Nastika Darshana. Those who accept the Vedas as authority and the presence of Ishvara, they are known as Astikas. And this philosophy, such a philosophy is known as Astika Darshanam. Others who do not accept Ishvara and Veda as authority are known as Nastikas. And that thinking is known as Nastika Darshana. Now, in Astika Darshana itself, there are two types of thinkers. One group of thinkers analyze and discuss in detail the topics of Jiva, Jagat, and Ishvara. Then, what is life after death, and also what is Papa, what is Punya, etc. Now, they analyze this according to the Veda. That means they completely accept the authority of Veda. In other words, they are in line with the teachings of the Veda exactly. So these thinkers are known as Vedantis, and this Shastram is Vedanta Shastram. Then there are other thinkers who accept the Vedas as authority, but they include their own style of reasoning and analysis to explain the very same topics, Jiva, Jagat, Ishvara. Now they are known as Tarkikas or logicians. So to understand Veda, there are about 16 Shastras. Tarka Shastra, Mimamsa, Dharma Shastra, Vyakarana Shastra, and so on. Actually, one who masters all these other Shastras is the one who can really understand and visualize what is told in Vedanta. Now, all this comes under Shruti or Veda. Like I said in the beginning, Veda, the huge body of scriptural knowledge. These are revealed texts. Vedas are revealed texts. Sages gained it in their vision and handed it down orally as a tradition. Further to this, the content of the Vedas was taught and written in a more easily understandable form by many sages, which are known as Smriti. Bhagavad Gita, Manusmriti, Yajnavalkya Smriti, Parashara Smriti, like that you have so many Smriti Granthas. Even Puranas are known as Smriti Granthas because Veda Vyasa is said to have written them. Now these are the Puranas which are 18 in number, and then you have 18 Upapuranas. Then there are Tantra Shastras, etc. Now each Shastram is a lifetime study. All these scriptural texts essentially teach the truth of the self as that which is not different from Paramatma. So this knowledge of oneness gives one freedom from the fear of death and rebirth. So, Paramatma, the essential topic of all the Shastras, has been praised and worshipped in this verse. वेदान्तैश्चाध्यात्मिकशास्त्रैश्च पुराणैः शास्त्रैश्चान्यैः सात्वततन्त्रैश्च यमीशं दृष्ट्वाथान्तश्चेतसि बुद्ध्वा विविशूर्यं तं संसारध्वान्तविनाशं हरिमीडे. नमस्ते.